Coach, back in the spring, you had one of the youngest rooms and a lot of young talent that are still working. Now in the fall, what have you kind of seen from them, how they developed, and how do you feel about them together?
Yeah, that's what I told them, kind of as we were leaving Platteville. I was very pleased with the growth because that was something we didn't have a lot of competitive maturity coming out of spring. Being able to sustain throughout practice. I think the youth had something to do with that, and I thought they accepted that challenge really well. And I think you've seen that the consistency throughout camp, practice, play to play has been a lot improved. And what that's done is create some competition within the room and heighten everybody's level of play a little bit. So I've been really pleased with that.
Hey, one of the things that Tucker talked about.
Sorry, Colt. I'll get you in a second. Just want to step up to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Picking you up. There we go. There we go.
One of the things that Tucker said in this offseason is that run blocking technique was something he really needed to focus on. When you evaluate practice to practice here in training camp, how does it look compared to him last season?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Because we really fundamentally at tight end, we want to run off the ball, right? And that takes some time to understand. How to do that. And Tucker would, he was always a willing participant, but sometimes a little bit out of control and found himself in problems. And I think what you've seen from him is, talking about a little bit of that growth, a guy that we're going to be counting on a lot, who's still just a second-year guy, is, taking the coaching day by day, focusing on one element, right, of the run blocking, of the pass game, whatever it is that he's working on, and being able to apply that day over day and not losing, what he had built on the next practice. So he's done a great job in the run blocking. He's been a force, and I'm very excited about, where his career is headed right now.
Nate, Phil talked about the versatility of the top three guys, at least in your position, where they all stand. I mean, what is it like to have different skill sets at this position for the year you guys are hoping to have?
Well, it's a lot of fun for me as a coach, but, we want to make sure we challenge everybody to supplement the parts of their game that maybe they're not the best at, right? Because we want to have versatility across the board. But when you do have guys with different skill sets, it gives you the opportunity to, number one, put different personnel on the field to attack defenses. But number two, it allows you to play at some tempo because you got guys that can do a number of jobs. And, I think we have that right now, especially at the top end of the room.
Yeah, I mean,
spring and a couple weeks of fall camp, but it stood out a little bit about Rob and Grant to kind of get used to the college games too.
Yeah, I mean, both of them, what I was really excited about, what you're always curious with young guys is, like, what's their competitive level? Are they going to go out here and grind every day and attack every period of practice? And I think you've seen both those guys do that. Grant in particular has really impressed me. When he came in, wasn't entirely sure, what he was going to be able to do, especially the further he got away from the ball. But I think if you guys pay attention to inside run at all, he's turned some heads definitely with what he's doing, and he continues to develop in the passing game as well. So really excited about him. And Rob has shown a lot of promise as well, but obviously those guys are young. So we want to make sure that they're following the leadership of the room. And for the most part, they've been doing that right now. It may have not been totally fair for Tucker to be out there as much as he was, coming in as a true freshman who enrolled in the summer. But what you've seen through his whole training process, through his whole spring practice into training camp, is you've seen a guy who's committed to improving his game, right? Because he's been out there on the field, he knows what level of play he's going to experience. And again, going back to the very first question, to me that was the big emphasis for us, was maturity in our room. I think Riley Nowakowski's done a great job of setting the standard of what we want that performance level to look like. And I think the people that are younger than him have really looked up to that, and they've taken some ownership over that level of performance. And I think Tucker's no different than that.
how have they taken the role of being more featured in the passing game? Because most of the time they've been blocking a lot. Now they're going to get some passes. How have they been feeling about that?
They're really happy about it. Now I want to make sure we're still going to. There's a mentality of what we do, so I don't want to highlight the passing game too much, or else these guys will be asking for routes on air and stuff like that. We still got to run block, but no, they're very exciting. I think the biggest thing is they're helping develop some trust with the quarterbacks, and I think that's something that we didn't have last year. That's something I think we are developing right now, and I think that's a huge factor to what we're experiencing.
Coach, with the amount of development you've seen from the room as a whole, is there maybe a number that you're kind of comfortable with playing this ball?
Yeah, I mean, you want to play somewhere between 2 and 3. We're definitely going to play with 2 guys. If a third shows up that we feel like has commanded the opportunity to get better on the field, we want to do that. But we also want to make sure that we create rhythm and cohesion on our offensive unit by not rotating too many guys. How close is JT in terms of maybe being that third person? I think JT's had a solid camp. Conversations I've had with JT is there's a level of consistency that we're still wanting to see, and there's a level of urgency that we're still wanting to see. So he's got all the tools. He knows this. But it's about stacking days, and like we just talked about, developing trust in the other 10 guys out there on the field right now.